Okay. Can he eat? Right? So he also acknowledges. Right? So how do we make him eat? The problem is in front of him.
So the hand and wrist needs to be aligned.
Now no talking, it is doing. Yes. So he has developed a domination on the left side. So it's a birth by birth. Okay, so this is another profile. We are seeing traumatic cases. That is another profile. Okay, so here.
What if we just keep?
Huh?
What if we just keep this wrist and hand like this?
That's the right hand. We have to work on the left hand. So hold the left hand, not the right hand. And then what happens? So how do we keep it that way?
With whatever you
Yes, with whatever this thing. That's good, smart. Okay, so we can. So that is only one part of it. What's your background? Yes. So we keep it up in wrist in extended position. So that is the one first step which she got it right. Next. Because just lifting it up, it will not this thing. And why do you want to lift it up? Okay, why do we want to lift it up?
Prevent contractions.
That is not the focus. Eating is the focus. No, they said that eating.
But that's he is the left hand.
Left hand.
To right.
Left hand. We have to make him eat. He is not able to eat. He has to become independent in eating.
Do you use a spoon?
Yes.
Yes.
So that the next step that this thing. So the mother is now willing that we can experiment with spoon. Okay. So we made a little inroad. So two things we got it. One, she said we can make the risk, but we have to justify why did you do that. And the mother is saying that okay, we will try spoon because it's not a very acceptable way. But now the mother has agreed. Yes, next.
So my question is, I would like to know what is current challenge in eating?
There is no challenging because they have not experimented.
Achha.
Okay, till now mother is feeding.
Okay. But interest is there.
Can we get some food and see how it is?
That will become little.
Physical is
We are
difficult.
We can try that. Hey, where is the spoon? Spoon is there.
Sorry, Tamil is.
He will translate. No.
To make comfortable quality. To learn how to eat, to teach him how to eat.
Independently, yes. But he is interested to eat, right? But like where, like what is happening right now? There's like less, right?
Try பண்ணும்போது just இப்படி பாருங்க.
Weak.
கை இப்படி கொண்டு
Oh, okay. It comes over there. So it's this strength if.
Okay, so there are many things
Many
actually.
things, yeah.
Because when the wrist goes into this position, your fingers, we call it as flexors. Okay, they will become weak. You can try yourself. Try to make a fist when the wrist is down. See, you'll struggle to make the fist. Okay, so what has happened is there is a term used as active insufficiency and passive insufficiency. So these are long extensor muscles, they get overstretched and they resist. And this side muscle, they become shortened. When they become shortened, then they don't have the capability of contracting. So it is called as active insufficiency and this side is passive. And both of them come together. And so if the wrist is like this, you don't expect anything to happen in the finger. It will always be hanging like this. Some sporadic attempts will happen, but then
So it
will
has
not
to be like this.
Huh. It
So
has
that
to-
enough strength is there for further action.
It is, but even for the purpose of maintaining a position, because that position will
Yeah.
allow us to manipulate that
at the end.
Yes.
Yeah, right. So this strength has to be there or something to support.
something to support.
So something.
Because we have to do it now.
So something like
Okay.
this, a ring and a small piece to hold it like this, because this will have the more strength
Hmm.
rather than this, right? So
Hmm.
something to hold it in this position might help.
What is that something?
A thing made out of this plastic which has one wristband and one, let's say, a pencil extending that just holds the arm as straight. Stiffness, yeah.
To the wrist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or something, there's a band over
So
it.
now, till here everything is fine. You're on track. But here the problem starts, here on. What is that problem? The spoon. Many of you may not know how do we eat with spoon. Okay. Have you ever realized that the spoon always remains horizontal? When it is here and when it is here, it always remains horizontal. And how does it remain horizontal? It actually has to change angles, but it doesn't change. And that is the catch point. And that is where we all get stuck. And that is where all these angles into it come into play. Okay, so to keep it horizontal, there is right from your shoulder, all these things makes this adjustment. Without even you having a dot of hint.
So it's a learned skill to keep adjusting as.
Yes, in this, within this 1 feet, 14 inches distance, there's a whole lot of maneuvering that happens to just keep it horizontal. Right? You never realize that why food stays in the spoon and not spills. Okay, so when we create the device, when we reach till that point, then we'll get stuck.
Yeah.
And then we'll start negotiating differently
That problem.
from there on. The 11-year-old long wait will be over. Okay? Somebody has been waiting and hoping that someday my child will eat. That will be over. Okay? So it is the context that is important. That's why I always try to drive that message. Okay, it is not the machine or the device. Okay, so we are going to make we call it as a cocker splint, okay, which will prop the wrist up. Okay, so we'll get a position of the wrist. So this is the plastic in my hand. I'm going to use the same plastic. You can just wipe the hand, little moisten it. So we don't have many tools here. Okay, so just bare minimum this thing.
Which hand?
Left. Polar side. Okay. So now we are going to make a same splint which I made on him, similar. Okay, just to keep the wrist up. So let us find out what would be a comfortable wrist this thing. Okay. So that I have to make sure that it should not put it in a discomfortable position. Okay. So that he also is able to participate in this thing. So we'll keep it up first. Okay, so they have tonal abnormality. Many of you may not know. As soon as the hot came in, everything became tight. Okay. So I have to be careful. So we are just taking the mold, we can't finish it because many materials are not here, tools are not there. So that probably, he is here. Okay, so this plastic is taking more than the required time. So if you see here, there is can you see this slightly tilted? Okay, so this, so you can see this tilt, wrist is, so we could not achieve that because there are too many things. I have to pull it up, I have to make it straight. So I could not achieve both the things, this thing. So it remained tilted on this side. This might change. After 2 months, this might change. I'll take a remold after 2 months and then I will try to correct it. Okay, so that is how it will go through the process. So now I am removing all the excess material. So we now achieve the first step, that is propping the wrist up. Okay, so the wrist is up. Now this all will be strapped, which I will do it now.
Yeah,
Huh? Okay, so this wrist better. Okay, now to an extent we have achieved the wrist propped up. Okay, now this will position us close to this thing, otherwise the variables are too much if the wrist is kept like that. Okay, now we'll ask him to take it to the mount. No, without.
ಕೈ ಮಟ್ಟು ವಾಯಿಗೆ ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋಣ
Okay.
ಸ್ಪೂನ್ ಉಂಟಾ ಕೈ ಮಟ್ಟು ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋಣ
Now,
Sachin, please have
now there is very interesting thing which many of you may not understand it. This is
Sachin, ask.
a child with where brain is involved. I was showing the pictures, this thing. Now when we have blocked the wrist joint, that will have an influence how the limb moves. Okay, if you see the earlier the ease with which he will do this movement, now he will not do that. He has to go through that process now. Okay. Please straight. We can see it like straight.
Straight one again. Nera kai if you.
Okay. So now he is wearing it. Now let us remove this. Now straight.
If straight one again.
Again मेरी कहीं இல்ல சாப்பிட சொல்ல ஓகே இப்படி கை
Okay. You'll see the behavior will change. So every time we incorporate anything, we have to be mindful of that. And then incorporate those things, elements in the therapy as well. Okay. So once we are giving this, now there will be a set of activity to release the elbow. Okay, with the same ease with which was doing before. Right?
The mind. So the new behavior has to be practiced.
The muscle behavior.
The muscle behavior has
Yes.
to be practiced.
Okay, it has to be practiced. So that is why we can't indiscriminately go on blocking things. Okay, because it will have a ramification. Even if I'm a non-familiar person, even that will have a role to play. You know, all of us standing here, new environment, everything has a role to
Pressure
play.
for.
Okay. Because these are very typical of these conditions. Okay, so all those things we are now overlooking those things. Okay. Okay, now the next part. Now the spoon. Okay. Let's take it like this.
That's it. Do I want to go?
Okay. Now the main problem what will happen is that we need to understand that we may not be able to achieve the handling of the spoon the way you handle. It may not be functional in the sense you look at it. His meaning of functional is very different. It can just be a spoon, he is taking the spoon from here to here. Right? So even that achievement, now that we have to sell it to the parents. Okay, so we have to recalibrate the meaning of their normality. Okay, it has to be changed. It has to be made appropriate to what, what stages you are going through. Right? Okay. So now we give the spoon. Okay. So now he can at least take the spoon to the mouth. This attempt is doing. So this is a success. So we need to reorganize our meaning of success. Right? Can that be communicated to them?
You can able to hold the spoon.
Uh-huh.
This is a spoon of put.
குடிப்பாங்க ஆனா ரிஸ்ட் வச்சுட்டு தான்
Push down, try to know.
ட்ரை பண்ணுவாங்க கரெக்டா நீங்க பொசிஷன்
Right,
ஆனா
We can see that. Okay. We can see that. How he will do this, handle the spoon, this and without this. Right? So this we saw. We took the video. Okay. Now we will take it off again and we will give the spoon to him.
Push you up.
Okay. So he can't lift it. Okay. Now just see the alignment of the spoon. Okay. Everything changed. It is reaching the mouth. But this reaching the mouth and the one with this reaching the mouth, both has a different, there's a difference. Okay. Right. So then this will slowly, these angles will be mastered. that takes a little longer time, more closer observation to those angles, and then slowly it will this thing. Because those angles, he doesn't have many things. He's taking it like this. He doesn't have this rotation. So that rotation I have to adjust through this angle. So ultimately you might see the spoon is bent in a zigzag way. So that zigzag way is, factoring all those elements. Okay, and that it will be a little difficult for me to, demonstrate it that way. But we'll go to the next step where we'll give a built-up handle to it. Okay, so how do we make it? So we can enlarge this handle of this spoon. Okay, so because it needs much finer skills which he doesn't have. So we have to enlarge the handle of this spoon. So how do we enlarge the handle? Right. So this is a pretty simple process, but it is a challenge to do it here. Okay. So I have to figure it out. What can I do? Marker.
Just wrap it.
Just wrapping it. It will look like. Everything is not round. There will be different shapes.
So it's a part of it. Some movement of that part it might become difficult
Yes, any thoughts? What is going on in your mind as we are running through the process? Now this splint, it is not only helpful for him for this device. Okay, it will be helpful. The splint will become the base for many things. Okay, the splint will become the base because everywhere he is getting stuck because of that. Okay, if you look at your hand, everything that you do with the hand, except few things, 90% of the task is with wrist elevated. That is why it is called as the functional position. It is named as functional position. Around 20 degrees of wrist in extension is called as the functional position. So the splint will allow to do that. And there are many things that we can experiment on.
I think Vivek's question was more like, will it be eventually will it be developed enough? I think, right? Like, would you?
That is a long question because it is a neurologically. For physical trauma, there is some assurance whether it will happen, not happen. It can be told because there are many things involved into it. It is not only this device. There is a word called neuronal plasticity, which happens in the brain. Okay, how that is happening, it will for sure influence that. Okay, how that they take up. Okay, although there are many factors. And especially for me, because I'm just coming and going. If I'm regularly with the patient, then still I can make some prediction. Okay. So now we got something similar as a cylinder. Yes, sir.
This is just a cardboard.
So we have another individual.
Yeah.
No, our subject is quite similar, so don't mind.
Bone structure.
You are from
I'm coming from Bangalore.
Bangalore, and you are associated with
I work for ICRC, International Committee of Red Cross.
Red Cross. I had the opportunity to visit your headquarters
Yes.
in Geneva.
Yes.
Okay, so we got something, makeshift arrangement. So now we are going to, attach it to this, right? So to do this, now we will need, the moment it is all about attachment, we will need dry heat. Okay. We will need dry heat. So here we have the heat gun. Thank you, Vivek. Otherwise we were. Okay. So this is the plastic, this thing. So this plastic has a coating which is non-water soluble, so it stays intact at this temperature, but this is much higher than 100 degrees. Okay, so now this is fitted. So when he leaves this place, he has achieved that one milestone. Okay, with it and without it. And we can ask the parents, because many a times, now here it is little difficult for the child to get a communication from the child, but we'll look for the subjectivity of the parent. Okay, and I think so the therapist, you are seeing this child?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so it would be worthwhile to get a subjectivity from them also. Okay, and many a times, especially the parents, okay, they get a gut feeling. Okay, because they are 24 hours, they are observing, so they have lot of, very acute sense. Okay, and they have a gut feeling that, okay, we have taken one step towards the ultimate goal. So we want to ask. Put this plate. So this is how it looks like. Yes, any questions, any thoughts?
I was wondering if the parent eventually learns these techniques, right? I mean, I know it's not easy. I know
No, because there is no background to it. What you are
Yeah.
seeing is just the material.
Yeah, but there's the whole.
It is the tip of the iceberg. You only see the tip.
True.
You don't see the below this thing.
Yeah.
Because as I am discussing, there are many things which I am not sharing.
The whole is the
Okay.
medical side.
Yes.
Of,
Ask him. Which was Sachin? Okay, so now if you see this alignment of the spoon is like this. So this, how do we bring it here? Okay, this how do we bring it here? The problem is when we bring it here, if you make any change in the angle, when you bring it here, when it goes to the plate, it is this. So it is horizontal here and it is vertical here. If it is horizontal here, it is vertical here. So this, like a Rubik cube. Okay. Rest. Okay. But we can see at least there is a grip, sound grip on the spoon. Okay. It is not shaking. Okay. So then.